I guess we're all good to go here, so... Wait, let me
Yeah,
make
we're
sure.
good to go. So, oh yes, you are changing your control scheme to hovering with X,
Yeah.
which
3.
is still something that I've tried, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, were you not really able to get used to it, or...
Not really. Well, it was harder for me, I guess. Okay,
Yeah.
so this has started. No, not yet.
3,
I'm
2,
watching on.
1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So what Joe is doing right now is the any percent run of Aladdin. So it's not going to be exactly the same run as the one I did a few days ago. Now we don't really care about getting all the red gems. All we care about is beating the game as fast as possible. So our the biggest speedrun strategy that we're going to use is to mash the parachute as much as possible. Because every time you release it, oh, you didn't get the 3 frame jump there. So
Yeah.
every time you release the parachute, you basically save 1 frame. The game just pushes you forward by 2 pixels. Additionally, he wants to exploit the terrain as much as he can. You see that he is jumping across these stairs, because if you are running on upward stairs, then you lose some speed. And on the contrary, if you run downward slopes, you gain speed. So you want to try to maximize your efficiency by running down slopes and avoid to running up slopes. There, 3rd level, what he did there is he tried to avoid getting as many gems as he could, because that lags the game. If you take too many gems in a row in a quick succession, the little sparkles that get created can lag the game a few frames. It can be significant if you take more than 3 or 4 gems in a row. So nothing too significant here. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of technique to make sure that after riding the first piece of cloth, he gets to the first platform immediately. It's actually kind of counterintuitive the way it works. 4th level, yeah, this is going really, really fast. Apple this first guy to make sure you can safely get past across him. And we're gonna be close to the first boss. This game doesn't have a lot of bosses. There's this one and then Jafar. So this, the way it works is really simple. What he wants to do is when the boss is slashing his sword on him, you can jump on him. And after you've jumped on him once, he will slash his sword like crazy. And normally what you have to do is to just wait until he's done doing that. But you can make him stop doing that immediately by throwing an apple at a really specific time. So the boss gets back to his normal cycle. And you can rinse and repeat. You have to hit him 4 times and he's dead. On to the second world, Cave of Wonders. So you're going to see a little bit of technique, more advanced techniques here. If you don't match the parachute, you can pass through this first stalactite. And there he took some damage in order to speed things up. Getting damage during the animation of climbing will make the climbing a bit faster. Although you have to sacrifice hearts, so Joe is really going hard in this speedrun because he's so good at it. And here, Joe is going to do something a little bit unexpected. Normally when you arrive at the end of this level, you have to wait for Abu to catch up with you. But here, he didn't arrive just yet. He waited for Abu to catch up with him, and then he went to the actual end trigger. That saves actually almost a second, because when you haven't arrived yet, Abu tries to catch up with you by running instead of walking. So that's actually saves time, even though it doesn't look like so. Now he's doing the early log. So if you're fast enough, you can skip a log by having to barely wait any time on that first rope. And he did that successfully because he's really good. Okay, he has to wait a little bit for the boulders. That was not the fastest possible strat, but he still pretty much made it.
Yeah, nice little backup.
Yeah, that was okay. Also, a little bit before the end, you saw that he jumped from that big downward slope. That's another speed technique. You don't want to actually mash the cape all the time. There are some places where you don't want to do that. Instead, you want to, as I said, use the terrain, run down slopes, and when you are at the end of a downward slope, you want to jump, so that the whole duration of the jump is going to retain the extra boost that you get from the slope. And that's usually more efficient than spending that extra time in the air by mashing. You just want to exploit the extra bit of speed from the slope as much as possible. Third world, you have to escape now from the Cave of Wonders because, well, it's hot in here. This is an auto-scroller. You know that we speedrunners love auto-scrollers. It's a well-known fact. So in order to make it a little bit more appealing for you guys, he's going to do some nice dancing. And also, because we have all the time in the world to do that, we are going to take all the gems, because here it's a good idea to take gems. Let me explain. In this game, gems don't work exactly like they would in a Mario game, for instance. If you get 100 gems, you don't get an extra life, but you get an extra heart. And you also get a free health refill. And that's really convenient, because at the end of the game, he will try to exploit getting 100 gems to get an extra heart and a free health refill. Oh, and you might be confused at what he just did. He sacrificed himself at a very specific place of this level. So he basically died just before triggering the checkpoint. So that's not faster, he's actually losing time. But what he did is to reset the RNG value. So the benefit of that is that now he will be able to manipulate all the rest of the RNG elements in the game. And that's really good, because he will be able to force the correct pattern from Jafar, which should, if everything goes perfectly, it should save him 8 seconds. However, the death itself that he took wastes about 3.5 seconds, so he still will have a net gain of 5.5 seconds, maybe something like 4.5 seconds. So it should work out. And we will see how it works out at the end. But normally the rest of the run should go smoothly. You can technically die at any time between worlds 3 and 5, but that death in the autoscroller is the fastest that we have found. If you had this game as a kid, this second autoscroller was probably the bane of your existence, but yeah, don't worry, Joe has it in the bag. It's actually easy if you're used to running this game. Normally you never die there, or very, very rarely.
I used to die here sometimes when I was first running this game. It was still my bane back then.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. When you're really... when you're a veteran at this game, it barely even happens anymore. Oh, and you might be confused, but actually it doesn't matter how many red gems you take. It will always take the same amount of time for all of them to be displayed at the end of the world. So he did not lose time by getting all red gems. And it's a good idea to take all these red gems, because a red gem is worth 3 gems. Oh, he didn't get to the apple shots perfectly there, but he still needs to take a few apples from that jar. You only took 1, so I hope it's going to be alright. You would probably have to go for the jar in level 6 one.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see how you do. Okay, he only has 1 life, so he's going to have the normal pattern from the genie here. And you can skip the last few platforms that he creates by jumping as he did. He did it pretty well. In case you didn't know, it's not RNG. The pattern he creates, there's 3 possible patterns, and it only depends on your number of lives. If you have 1 or 2, it's going to have this pattern. If you have 0 lives, it's going to be all clouds. If you have 3 or more, it's going to be a more complicated pattern, which is less good than the one you just had. So that's why we don't take the 1-up in the first level, even though it's just on our way. We just skip it. A lot of really quick technique. Generally, when you are on a swinging pole, you want to avoid swinging, because that's really slow. So you can just press down whenever you grab a swinging pole to let go of it immediately, and then press R so you can slide through and almost lose no time at all. Another level, which is vertical optimization, so you can lose a lot of time without even noticing it in this level. So this first part was done pretty well. Okay, yeah, you got acceleration from the last song. That's quite difficult. The bouncing genie heads, that was also done well. You can save quite some time if you're really good at that, but just barely jumping the right amount of jump there. Oh, one more. Oh, you got the first high jump. That's nice. So, not the second one.
Yeah,
that's okay.
second.
So that's okay. It's actually quote-unquote random because it turns out that when you have full speed in this game, your jump will either be a 63 pixel or a 64 pixel jump vertically, and we don't still exactly know why it happens. But unfortunately for these two high jumps, it's required to get a 64 pixel, so it's kind of random. It works sometimes, it doesn't work some other times, so we don't really know. You can decide to go for them or not. If you don't go for them, you can just short hop. You will have to climb the light, but that will still be faster than going for it and not getting it. Well, moving on to World 5, you probably remember that from the movie, don't you? So here he's going to exploit the swinging poles because they do make you fast there, and also the sand going his way. Some of these platforms have sand going his way, so he will try to go on those ones as much as possible. It's going to speed him up more than mashing the cape. So that's why sometimes, even if we could, it's better to not mash the cape. Oh, there he intended to shoot an apple at this sand, but he failed. It's fine, it's not a big time loss. In the next level, he will sacrifice 2 hearts on spikes in order to make the level as fast as possible. And he has 3 hearts, so it should be fine. Pretty good level too. This level is really technical to do perfectly. Then last level of World 5, here you have to jump such that this first archer shoots upwards, first damage boost on the spikes, because we want to go fast. We want to minimize the amount of times we have to swing on these chain handles. Oh, that's not exactly the route.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
Oh, no, too bad. Yeah, that didn't align. The problem with this level is that the chains, they move up and down. So this level is really based on a global level timer. So if anything goes wrong in the level, then the rest might be completely messed up.
Yeah, you pretty much got to
improvise. It can be really difficult to adapt to that. Here he's throwing an apple at this last sword guy. It's just enough so that he does not throw a sword towards you. Yeah, you cannot stun this guy like you can for weaker guards, but it's just enough. So you can pass through without him throwing a sword, so you don't have to... Yeah, it's less awkward to go through, and you don't have to lose as much time. And next level... we got a whole new world. Yeah, the problem is I don't have sound, so I'm not gonna sing. If you want to sing, Joe, you can. Otherwise,
well, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that's okay. I will just explain what's going on. So he's going to take a lot of gems because for any percent, the gem route is pretty tight. As I explained in the previous auto-scrollers, he wants to manipulate his gems such that he will hit 100 gems just before the Jafar fight, and that implies him getting somewhere about around 70 or between 65 and 70 out of this level. So that's why he's taking a lot of them, especially the red ones, because they are worth 3 gems. So normally it should be good. He should finish this level with about 70 or so, and that should be sufficient. Yeah. A whole new world. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have the music, so I can't sync with it. 68. Yeah, 68 is good. Yeah, you had a lot of spare gems actually. Oh,
yeah, because I took that
even
death.
Better. Yeah, because of the deaths indeed. So 69. Yeah, that's easy to remember.
I might still have the values locked in too, because the 2 runs I did earlier, I died also, and I still had the same values. So
Yeah, no, it's okay because there's absolutely no RNG dependent thing in Worlds 4 and 5, and you didn't pick up the random jar in 5.1, so you should still be aligned with the correct RNG. I hope so.
Ooh, that's true. Should be
Yeah.
good then.
Yeah, you should be good. Okay, let's see what happens. So this is the beginning of Palace, a pretty difficult world. It's the last world before Jafar. He's gonna apple this sword guy, and oh, you didn't take the apple jar. I'm surprised. I hope you're
Oh,
gonna
whoops,
have
I
enough
forgot.
because
Let's
okay,
see.
you
How
forgot. All right.
How many apples do I have? 4? I think I have
okay,
just enough, actually.
Yes, but don't use any apples in 6.2 then. Normally we throw apples at lanterns so that we can fully exploit the extra speed from the downhill slopes, but I think here it's not a good idea because you don't have enough. Oh, you missed the Yago, so now
Yeah.
RNG might be screwed up.
I did
Okay,
hop on them though. I'm not sure though if that
Yeah, I don't
that
think
did
this is
anything.
gonna work. I don't think this is gonna work, but yeah, who knows.
I will
Yeah,
see. Let's see how this Yago pattern is.
3 apples is gonna be really short. Let's see how this works. Well, yeah, if you have enough apples, you can
Let's
shoot at
see.
these lanterns so you can
Nope.
go through without
It's not gonna work.
without grabbing them. Yeah, you need to apple this first guy to go through him, and the second guy as well, the guard just before the fire.
Alright. I'm gonna try to
This-
take an early refill too, just because. Might as well.
Yeah, it might be a good idea because you're already out of apples and
Yeah, out of
yeah, it
apples,
can work.
little low on health too.
yeah, okay. So there he took the early refill, which is not a bad idea if things don't go exactly as planned, because it won't be much slower. The only problem is that he still has the 6 fires, but he will have to take the refill after the first Jafar fight. That's the only
See,
difference.
shouldn't be it. Oh, it still is.
Okay, and oh yes, you got the RNG, so it worked in the end. I didn't
Alright.
believe it. Yeah, it did. Okay, so that's what you want. You want Jafar to give you immediately the 4 spawns that he creates, so you can exploit them to go on top of Jafar and then completely combo him to death, and he will never do anything else. What happens most of the time if you don't manipulate RNG is that he's going to throw his cane at you, then you hit him, and then you will get the good pattern. But if you're lucky, or if you manipulate RNG, as he did, you will get the good pattern immediately, which saves 8 seconds. If you don't manipulate RNG, the probability of getting it is like 30%, so it's pretty lucky to get it. But unfortunately, it's required to get a great PV because you don't want to have to take the death as he did. And now, final fight. He's going to sacrifice all his hearts one by one in order to boost himself just high enough so he can hit Jafar. It's really technical. You have to rely on the height of the tail. Right now he's riding his tail. Oh, nice RNG there. Riding Jafar's tail, and when you hit the highest point, you can just boost yourself up on top of Jafar's head. And after the 5th boost, like when you only have 1 heart left, here he got the correct pattern from Jafar, where Jafar thrusts his head towards you and you can hit him twice, and then you get the big waves and you can finish him off with the last hit. And that was a pretty perfect fight, so yeah, congrats for that. 17-11, a really, really decent time.
Yeah, it was good
Congratulations.
for the death.
Yeah,
That death
for
is
dying
pretty
twice
costly.
it's okay. Yeah, for dying twice is really not bad at all. So GG.
GG.
This is a really cool game, I think. Amazing speedrun. It's short and sweet. This game controls very well. It's definitely one of the best Disney Capcom games on the Super Nintendo, for sure. So definitely follow JoeDamillio, give him some love. He's a beast at this game, and also at Super Castlevania 4, Link to the Past, Super Valleys, and whatever.
Definitely give
Well,
Hulk a follow also. I mean, you just saw him give some grade A commentary, and he's a beast at a lot of games. And
Yeah,
his
thank you,
streams are
thank you.
really great.
Thanks a lot, dude. Well, always a pleasure to commentate for your Aladdin goodness.
Indeed. That was great.
Yeah, it was a nice show. And then you could see how it is to have good RNG on Jafar, because I don't think my run did it. Well, I don't manipulate RNG. But if you do, then yeah, you can get the good RNG. You can force it, and it will work. And that's cool.
Yeah, Hulk has the best time for this category with 1622 still. That doesn't do the death manipulation route. But my second place 1627 does, and as you see, even though it costs 4 to 4.5 seconds, you could still get a really good time with it. And like Hulk
Yes.
said earlier, you're pretty much mitigating all the RNG in the run doing that. So
Yeah, it really depends on the take you have on the game. You can go for it or not. And by the way, my time is still not optimized. Someday I will really have to get a 1618 or whatever, because I know I can. I just need to get the run.
especially with some of the newer stuff too.
Yes, yes. So next up is your Super Valleys run.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Super Valleys 4 is a really good game. Unfortunately, I'm not able to commentate for that one, so I'm going to wish you good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be doing that one solo.
Yeah. It's a really good game, by the way. It's not very well known, but you guys would probably enjoy it. It's you're in for a treat, I think. It's another short but sweet side scroller.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of them in SNES, but yeah, that one is particularly cool, and it has great music too.
yeah, it does. So I guess on that note, I'll switch over to it, and we'll get this run started.
Alright. Well, I guess I'm going to mute myself then.
Yeah, thanks for being here again, Hulk.
Yeah, again, thanks for having me. Thanks for having Joe do this amazing animals in Aladdin.
Indeed.
And have fun. See you next time.
Later, Hulk.